Here we are, 1 week before moving. This is my old making room with everything packed up. All the stuff's ready to go, just waiting for movers in exactly 1 week. I had a great big window, so I had tons of light in here. It was fantastic. Hot in the summer. All this stuff needs to get packed up by the movers, and off we will go. Not all these bits and pieces will be going into the new making room. So we'll see where it all ends up. We'll see how the new setup goes. Stay tuned. Okay, here we are at the new house before anything's even arrived. So this is going to be my main room for crafting. This is going to be the home of the makery. Lots of work to do, lots of stuff to come in, and we'll see how we do. We'll see how things develop. Already got knitting. Okay, so the truck has been and gone a few days ago, and we just have a pile here. I have not begun working on this room at all. I have been focusing on kitchen, living space, that sort of thing. So we'll be in here soon, and we'll see what happens. Hi everyone, I'm Allie from Southern Ontario. I thought I'd share my move with you so that you don't have to go through the stress that I've gone through. I thought in doing that, I could share with you a bit of a stash review. So I did have a little bit of video that I will have shown you of my previous making room in the old home, and this room empty, and then this room with furniture in it and piles of boxes. So the only thing I have left to put away is all of my knitting yarn stash. So you will have seen this piece, this armoire, in those previous videos. I inherited this piece from my mother when she passed. She had this made in the 90s, actually, for her home at the time. And when she passed 10 years ago, I couldn't possibly let it go basically to charity because nobody else wanted it. So I kept it for me. What you may not be able to see, it's actually quite a large piece. I mean, I can just standing here, I can touch the top of it. Not that I'm tall, but it was a tricky item to move, that's for sure. What you can't see in frame probably, or a little bit of, is there are 6 drawers here. Two sets of 3 drawers. Those are all full of rug hooking yarn for my traditional rug hooking that I've talked about previously. I also have one part of this upper section full of rug hooking materials. I did not intend to have this stuff here. I didn't think I had that much left, but apparently when you try to drastically downsize your stash for one fiber art, as much as I did do that, I still have a lot left. So I thought I was going to have this whole upper section for knitting yarn, but I don't. So I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do with all my knitting yarn. I think I mentioned previously too that I actually tried to go on a no buy for 2025, and for the most part I actually have achieved that. And the reason was I started packing early and was overwhelmed with how much I had. So I have actually bought very, very little this year. But I also had another goal in 2025, and that was to go back and fix, frog, or finish all my projects that were in limbo. So I've spent a good portion of the beginning of 2025 doing just that. So I didn't actually consume a lot of new knitting yarn in that process. So I'm pretty much left with what I had at the end of 2024. I'm not normally concerned about these things too much, but I'm a pretty practical person. I don't want to have a huge extensive stash. I don't get concerned about anybody else's stash. I just know that I feel overwhelmed if I have too much and if I feel like I'm not using what I have. That being said, I feel overwhelmed. Having packed all this, having moved all this, and now looking at it all, I realize I need to continue this no buy as much as I can within reason for as long as I can, because it is getting overwhelming. And what I also need to do is identify projects for a lot of this. Looking down because it's all around me here. It's everywhere below me. So I will share some of this with you. Warning, there's going to be crinkling. I'm sorry. Some of it is in packaging that is crinkly. So if that bothers you, please just actually turn off or turn off the sound. Mute the sound. So I think we're going to have a separate video for sock yarn, just for socks, because there's a lot of just sock yarn, which is something, again, I feel like, stop buying the sock yarn. What are you doing, Allie? Stop buying sock yarn. But I do have plans other than socks for some of this. And so I will be seeing that through, and I will also be thinking of more. Let me just reach over and show you the extent of the sock yarn. Please note, in all of this, I'm just showing you full new skeins. In the closet behind me in the corner, it's a small closet, there are a couple of shelves full of bits and bobs, ends of skeins, ends of balls. You get the picture. So, one moment while I lean over and pick this up. All of this is sock yarn. We're not going to look at it right now. I think I'm accurate in saying all this is sock yarn. Oh, there's some commercial sock yarn sitting on top, like Drops Nord, Patton's Croy. Oh my goodness. And Knitpicks Stroll, which I've only ever purchased on one order. But I do have some of it here. And there's also some hand-dyeds. There's some Estelle yarn. There's a variety of stuff here. So I'm just going to sneak this around the corner where it's going to live in its hamper. And obviously there's more than a hamper, so that's not good. That's step one. Deal with that. So then my challenge is I do have sweater quantities or bigger than many different yarns. And I do have ideas for a lot of them. They just need to happen. So again, crinkling warning. So first of all, I have a big bag of Drops Nepal. Story about this. I had a plan when I bought this, and I was going to do a blanket with it, and that fell through because ironically it wasn't actually enough to do the blanket, and it was more the color was not. Of course, I ordered this online from Wool Warehouse in the UK. I live in Canada. You can only do so much with looking at the pictures online. The color was not what I wanted it to be because it was for a gift, so I had to be a little bit picky. And I have a lot of Drops Nepal. I have used some of it to make warm woolly socks, which I realize they don't have any, there's no nylon, there's no silk, there's no other thing that's in here, no ingredient in the yarn that's going to keep them from wearing through. But I just did nice, thick, warm woolly socks for a couple of people for Christmas, intended to just be worn around the home. So I've used a bit of it. I have plans to make a sweater holding this with something else. I'm going to make a big, thick, luscious sweater for myself, and then probably clearly something else. So I don't even want to count. I know when I bought it, it was 30 balls. It's probably 25, 26 at this point. So that's already going to take up a big chunk of space. I have this lovely Wonder Twin Fiber Arts bag. WTF. This is full of last year's advents, 2 different advents. One was the Yarn Ink sock yarn. Oh, so there's more sock yarn, I just realized in saying that. So the 4, I don't know if they're all complete in here, but these were the Yarn Ink weekly sock advent packages. I think I've used one of the minis. I actually want to do a sweater, a fingering weight sweater with the fade of the main skeins there. And then I also have my yarn indulgences. This is the big 100-gram skein that you get, and then all the minis are in here from last year's Advent. You can see I've used some of these minis, not a lot. I have to tell you though, this is decadent. This is too much. It's terrible. I consider myself terrible that I haven't used this yet, but I have got to tell you, I love having an Advent open because it's so directed to me. You know, it's my passion and my interest, and I love the fact that I have something to enjoy, whether it's daily or weekly, that I'm opening at that special time of year. So, Advents that need to be used. I have, this is going to be super crinkly, a big old bag of Wool of the Andes. 2 colors. Let me just get out one of each color. Sorry. Should have done this before. I'm out of screen. Okay, sorry. There we go. This is for a colorwork sweater. This is not as bright as it's showing up. It is a much more muted shade. And I do not have a color for you. C23432 and C25647. That is basically, I purchased enough for a colorwork sweater. So this is, and I actually have a pattern chosen. Can't tell you what it is. Not because I'm being secretive. She's gone. But it's in my favorites. So, that's planned, so it should happen. I won't take them out of the bag and put them away. I also have 4 skeins of Lily and the Pine Fiber Arts. I'm probably going to read that all backwards. This is their Elm Sport, 100% BFL in Egg Hunt. It's nice, lots of greens, some little hints of pinks and peaches, and then some spatterings. That's my word, spatterings. So, yeah, it's a sport. This is made in Calgary, Canada. And there is 280 yards in this 115-gram skein. So I saw this and couldn't say no. Also, I think had a plan for it. Also can't remember. Won't crinkle that anymore. So there's 4 skeins of that. I have Let Lopey. Let me see if I can find, well, you can look at this one. I actually started a sweater in this. And stopped. What sweater was it? One moment, please. It's right here. Sev by Isabel Kramer. So I might go back to that and finish it off, or I may rethink what I do with this. But I have enough Let Lopey for a very warm, cozy sweater. So that's that. This is more Advents. This is sort of double bagged here. Little bits and pieces of Advents from the year previous. So that's 2023. I also have, sorry to be doing this up and down thing. 2 colors here. I was going to do a striped sweater. Estelle Alpaca Merino Fine. And let's see if I can see the colors here. Well, color 425 and color 408. So basically a heathered, everything has hair on it. A heathered gray, medium gray, and a lovely rich purple. So I have enough to do a sweater in that. That is 55% merino, 25% nylon, and 20% alpaca, 400 meters for 100 grams. So another fingering weight sweater. I've had about 3 different plans for that. Hasn't happened yet. So we'll see if that happens. Okay, so then, that's not too bad. The soft yarn's my real problem, I'd say. I have an entire bin here. Well, maybe it's an entire bin of Briggs & Little Heritage in various colors. So I use Briggs & Little Heritage in my rug hooking. So some of this will be used in my rug hooking, but I also have extra in many shades, and some of that I have a great deal of it. See, here's just 5 different colors just to give you a taste. This color and this color, I think. No, I'm lying. This color and this color, I have a sweater quantity of each. Now, this is a bit of a rustic wool. But I wanted to, this is the color Red Granite, which is really pink, nice mottled pink. And this is the color Evergreen, which I absolutely love. I wanted to do a sweater in these because I want to see knitting up a sweater, giving it a good block, good wash. How does it feel? So I really would like to do that. And I've got all these other colors so I could do color work. I mean, come on. I could do a nice color work sweater. So there are plans. And I just have to get to it. And that's yet another thing, a really nice yellow. It's a little darker than what you're seeing there because it's the sun's really blowing it out a bit there. So nice brown. That's literally called brown. That's what it is. So I have a whole bin of it, as well as I do have a little bit of the Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool. I have done several projects in this, and in actually more, this is a dark brown. They call this Nature's Brown. There's a medium brown. I don't know what it's called, but I've done 2 projects in that. So I have a bit of this as well in the same bin. Very similar rustic level, I would say. Between the two, yeah, pretty much. Pretty similar rusticness. Is that a word? It is now. So there's a, those Rubbermaid bins? I'm not going to pick it up. I have a bin full of that. One more bin. See, it's not too bad. It's just got that sock issue. So I am bending down to open this bin, which I should have opened before because it's a difficult one to open. Oh, more Briggs & Little. Okay, then I've got the Lion Brand in the oatmeal. I've used a bit of that already before. I have 2 skeins of this. Winston Fibers Company Gertrude. I just bought this recently because I wanted to support the company. This is a indie dyer, and she was looking to move some yarn to clear things out, so I had to help a girl out. So I helped her out twice. This is also Winston Fiber Company Gideon. So this one is, Gideon is, trying to find some details here. This is 115 grams, 420 yards. So I have 2 of those. What can I do with 2 of them? I'm gonna figure it out. Absolutely stunning colors in these. Just absolutely beautiful. The other one is also, it's 437 yards per 100 grams. So both fingering. I mean, come on. What is the makeup of this? Sorry, I'm having trouble seeing because I need glasses. Anyway, you can see the variety of colors in there. Just so much to look at. Like, there's so much there. So I have to figure out some things to do with 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn. There's more Briggs & Little. Another couple of colorways. Okay, so now this is a heavier. The other I showed you was Heritage. Oh, that is Heritage. Okay, that looks thicker. There's various weights you can get at Briggs & Little. Most of what I have is Heritage. I don't know why, but I think every store I go to, this is falling apart. I feel like every time I visit a store, I must buy another ball of multicolored Estelle. I swear to you, I have so many of these, and I don't have any memory. I go into some kind of coma or like zone. I don't know. I don't even remember buying them, but I have so many of them. Okay, I also have, these are leftovers. I don't really have to necessarily own up to those. I have some Hello Stella yarn. I have some that I've finished and used up. That's probably the only skein I have of Hello Stella. Oh, there's another one. Lied again. So I have 2 single skeins of, that's darker than it's showing up, from Hello Stella. That is her exclusive tweed fingering. Don't know what I'm going to do with that. And I have 2 skeins of DK, Deep Freeze DK from the Frosted Stitch, another Canadian dyer, Northern Ontario dyer. And then I have 4 plates of unspun that I bought from Crux Fiber. This is maybe hard to see. It's a light green, very, very light green. When I purchased this, I was too fast on the trigger and I bought the wrong color. Not the color that I wanted. So that's why this has not been used yet. I've been toying, I don't know what to use it for. I've been torn about what to use it for. So, but I would really like to use it up because it takes up a lot of space. So then beyond that, there's bits and bobs and little leftovers. That's not too bad, right? So come on the journey with me. I'm going to use this up. I'm going to fill up this cabinet and find room, little nooks and crannies everywhere through the room to find a home for all this. And hopefully I can share it with you again and again as I make projects with them. And with each one, I'll be able to give you the exact details as I move forward. So hope that was a little fun. I think I enjoy when I see other people's stash. So hopefully that brought you a little bit of fun. Maybe if it made you feel better about your stash, hope so. Happy knitting, everyone.